Scarecrow Cemetery. In a village deep within a remote town, there lay an ancient cemetery peacefully nestled among vast fields. The setting sun cast a golden glow on the abandoned graves, where bodies no longer inhabited by souls rested. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the cemetery grew cold and dark. Wild grass covered the ground, and the buzzing of cicadas filled the air, creating a picture of eerie stillness and tranquility. One night, a group of teenagers decided to explore the ancient cemetery. The group consisted of 4 boys and 2 girls, driven by curiosity and a sense of adventure. They decided to play a horror game they called Making a Scarecrow. They would gather grass and mud from the abandoned graves, along with straw and some other tools they had prepared for their bizarre plan. Nam, are you sure we should do this? Lynn, one of the girls, asked nervously. Nam, the leader of the group, just chuckled and nodded. We won't know until we try, right? He looked out from the window of the abandoned house in the cemetery, where the expansive moonlight streamed through the wooden slats, casting flickering spots of light across the graveyard. With determination, the group began their work. Using dry grass, mud, and straw, they started to shape the scarecrow. A mix of excitement and tension filled the air. We're going to make a huge scarecrow and place it here to guard the cemetery, Chen, the lively boy in the group, said with a booming laugh. As the scarecrow took shape, an unsettling feeling settled over the group. The long grass and dry straw created a terrifying figure. They gazed at the scarecrow in horror, with its ink-black eyes, sharp nose, and eerie smile. The more they worked, the more they felt drawn into a dark and sinister force. Fantastic, Anne, one of the girls exclaimed, though her voice carried an inexplicable fear. They placed the scarecrow near the abandoned house, right in the center of the cemetery. Filled with satisfaction, the group left. Initially, creating the scarecrow was just a curious game. They wanted to explore the power of their imagination and see if they could create something strange from the materials they deemed creepy around them. However, over time, things began to change and spiral out of control. Some members of the group harbored feelings of resentment and anger towards life. They felt neglected and unfairly treated by their loved ones. Others wanted to assert their power by imposing on others. All of them sought a way to vent these negative emotions, and tormenting the scarecrow became one of those outlets. The group took turns beating and tormenting the scarecrow mercilessly, their wild laughter echoing through the cemetery day after day. But soon, the teenagers grew bored of this cruel pastime. From that moment, something strange happened. Under the relentless agony, from the strands of grass and bundles of straw, a dark spirit was born. The scarecrow, although just a bundle of grass and straw, absorbed the pain and suffering, forming a consciousness and life. The horror began as hatred and agony surged, transforming the scarecrow into a dark and terrifying entity, filled with destructive power. On the first few nights after gaining consciousness, the scarecrow utilized the darkness, blending into the night. It ventured into the village, seeking those who had tormented it. Its figure, resembling a tall, menacing specter, struck terror into anyone who happened to see it. After nights of searching on a moonless night, the scarecrow found the group of teenagers having fun in the abandoned house. In the thick darkness, it appeared suddenly and attacked its tormentors mercilessly. At first, the teenagers laughed, thinking someone was playing a prank on them. However, when the scarecrow's arm transformed into a sharp spear and pierced through one of the group's chest, the remaining teens began to panic. Screams and cries echoed everywhere, making the atmosphere even more sinister and terrifying. The 5 remaining teens fled from the abandoned house. They ran frantically forward, not daring to look back. However, none could escape its monstrous grasp. The young individuals became victims of the very horror game they had created. One day, on his way back from work, a farmer passed by the cemetery and discovered that near the abandoned house, there were not just 1 but 7 scarecrows. One large, terrifying scarecrow stood tall. Beneath its shadow were 6 smaller scarecrows, with their mouths stuffed with grass and mud, their expressions frozen in sheer terror. The farmer felt a chill run down his spine. He suddenly remembered the 6 children who had gone missing, still unfound to this day.